Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Todd Cheek coming at you with another episode of Living Your Best Life. And thank you so much for hanging out with us this afternoon, this evening, this morning, wherever or whenever you are in the universe right now. Thank you once again. If you don't know already what we do on the show, I'm going to tell you right quick. We invite professionals on to talk about what they do and how what they do contributes to a healthier society, a wealthier society, just a better society in general, right? So that's what we do. Now, today you're in for a real treat. You're in for a real treat because we're going to talk about a topic that I know that if we knew how to acquire more of this and we knew some strategies and some tools in terms of how to acquire more of this, then our success level at whatever endeavor it is will shoot up 50 to 100%. And that topic and that word is confidence. Okay. Now, Jay Divorce. She's going to be coming on to talk and teach us about this word called confidence and how to acquire more of it. And I know you're going to enjoy her, and I want you to look her up at thrivinglife.com. Alrighty, so you're going to enjoy the show. I look for you on the other side of this quick commercial about what I'm giving away. All right, and I want you guys to take advantage of what I'm giving away for free. Supplementation is no longer a luxury, everyone. It is almost a necessity when you think about the depletion of our nutrients in our soils nowadays. So I'm giving away some free stuff here. So take advantage through the link below, up top, or to the sides, wherever the link is. Click on it and I'll get you a free sample of this awesome line of supplementation out to you as soon as possible. So everyone, I'll see you on the other side of this quick commercial, and we're going to be talking to Jay DeVore, the confidence coach, all right, of Thriving Life. Y'all take care. See you on the other side. Peace.
Isotonics Daily Essentials combines 4 essential supplements in one convenient serving. Our formula combats free radicals, increases energy, promotes strong bones and healthy teeth, and helps decrease stress and improve mood. Many of the most popular vitamins and minerals sold today contain artificial binders, fillings, and coatings that make it difficult for your body to break down nutrients. Using our unique and clinically proven isotonic delivery system, Daily Essentials provides superior absorption by rapidly delivering nutrients to your body. Our convenient on-the-go packs contain 1 capsule each of our cornerstone products: Isotonics OPC3, Isotonics Multivitamin, Isotonics Activated B Complex, and Isotonics Calcium Plus. Just add water and stir. You can also send trial-size marketing packs directly from the Unfranchise app and gain new customers. Start your journey towards optimal health today with Isotonics Daily Essentials.
So welcome back, everybody. Listen, Todd Cheek, of course, from the introduction already. Grab that free sample, okay, that I'm sending out to everybody. All right, so make sure that you grab this free sample. The link should be below or to the sides or up above, wherever it is. Just grab those free samples, okay? So I am so thrilled to have, like I said in the introduction, Jay. I love her name. You know, when I first met her, you know, it throws you off already. But like I said, I love her name and love her energy. And she's out in the West Coast, California dreaming and all of that good stuff. But she is what I call personally, you know, and she might call it different, a confidence coach. But amongst other things, she's also a laughing coach. And we had an opportunity to speak about that not too long ago. And she can kind of like, you know, give some more details about that whole thing, because I love to laugh, and sometimes I am, you know, can be known as a prankster, but once again, I do love to laugh. But I think today's conversation is important, not only just for this time that we're in, but just in general. You know, as we do approach life, we need to be self-assured. We need to have confidence. And a lot of times we live out of a state of fear, and that fear keeps us from achieving our goals and becoming our very best. And so Jay is going to go over some of our programs and just kind of talk about some of these topics that I think need to be expressed. And she's the perfect person to share these approaches. And Jay, so thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
Yeah, really happy to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, sure thing, sure thing. So Jay, if you don't mind, just kind of like introducing you, I'd kind of like share a little bit about who you are, but only you know you better than I do. And so you can do a better job of introducing yourself and kind of like going through, you know, take us through your journey of of your life when it comes to you becoming this person that you are now?
Hmm. Yes, yes. Thank you very much. So, yes, I am Jay, and I like to say I am a recovering, recovered imposter syndrome sufferer, as many people are. I think that that's a term that a lot of people really identify with. But I'd also like to maybe define that for some people who aren't familiar with that term, imposter syndrome. And really, what that is it's the self doubt that plagues us, even in spite of all of our successes. It's that sense of no matter how much I've accomplished or how good I am, how well I perform, I still don't ever quite feel like I'm deserving of my success or that I'm good enough for the next level of success. And it's something that really is pretty prevalent out there. There's a pretty big study out there recently that's citing that about three-fourths of the population is of women is suffering from imposter
Mm.
syndrome. And
You
so,
say three, four, or how many? How many?
or 75% of women
Wow,
struggle
wow,
with this. Yeah.
that's big.
According to one study, and I did try to look and, I've tried to like see like what else the other research is out there and keep up with that. And I've heard various numbers between 60 and 80%. So I
Hmm.
think going with 75% is
Yeah.
probably fairly accurate. And that is what I come across, in the course of coaching, is, and not just women, this happens to men as well, but I just
Mhm.
focus on women. And that's because I've been through that journey. I grew up, always identified even from a tiny young age as, oh my gosh, she's so precocious. Wow. What an avid learner. She's a natural leader. She really makes an impact when she walks in the room. But I also got messages of Jeanette needs to let me teach the class. Jay is too bossy,
Mhm.
and so on. And other messages about just kind of sit down and be quiet, don't rock the boat. And I think that this kind of led to kind of some self doubts, some
Mhm.
concerns that maybe I wasn't okay to be myself in the world. When you get that feedback as a young child, and you're not given the proper kind of support and context, it can really, really leave an imprint on you from a young age. And a lot of the messages about how we're supposed to be, how we should behave, we continue to get those reinforced through our schooling, through our college education, and of course through our jobs, and naturally our relationships with our parents and our friendships and our partners, and so on and so forth. And so I'm no stranger to that journey. And even
Mhm.
as a very high potential person who, fell in love with the idea of helping other people when I was about 12 years old, it took me a very long time to actually put myself out there as a coach. And with all the confidence that I have these days, to really kind of overcome, what it was. And so it has been a journey for me,
Mhm.
to be, I've had that fear of public speaking. Getting up in class and having to do a presentation was just absolutely mortifying to me. And then, when it came time to work, working in the working world, it was often kind of a fear of kind of raising my hand and speaking up, of sharing my thoughts, my ideas, hesitating when an opportunity was presented to me. And so, yeah, over the years,
Oh,
I have
yeah,
done a lot of my internal work, and
yeah,
now I bring that to others to help
yeah.
other women in
So you
situations.
haven't always been this confident person.
Absolutely not. No,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I had to figure it
And
out organically.
yeah, and so if you can take us like through a phase of maybe some phases of your life where you ran into those you were that unconfident person, and then there was a time and point where you decided, okay, something's got to change.
Hmm.
And also, what did that look like for you?
Yeah, yeah, there were various choice points, and one of them I think is most telling to me, given where I am today, is my journey as a coach. I mentioned
Hmm.
a minute ago that I had a really strong interest in helping people since I was 12 years old.
Hmm.
And I actually I just loved to learn about psychology and understanding ourselves, and how to support other people, that I started self-studying at a really young age. And I went to college. Of course, I pursued that course of study in psychology. And, I had my reasons. I kind of decided I didn't want to do therapy. That's what I thought I was going to do. But when I learned about coaching, I got really excited. And I said, oh,
Mhm.
this is it. And so I pursued my coaching education. And when it came time to become a coach, right, start out on my own, I really struggled, and I don't think that that's unusual because a lot of coaches don't know really what they need to do to actually
Right.
become a business person, how to turn their skills into a business. Um, and I remember in particular, going into a meeting with a business coach, somebody who could have helped me grow my business. And, and he was asking me some questions, and I was just so caught in kind of the fear. It almost felt like a performance anxiety, just so much
Hmm.
anxiety being in that conversation, confronting the idea of success, that I was very hesitant. And he asked me a really profound question, and it was, Jay, what is it that I see in you that you don't see in yourself?
Hmm.
And at the time, I think I was like, I don't know, that was like 20 years ago, you know,
Hmm.
and in no way was I ready to step up, and it was, I think he saw my potential, but I hadn't seen it yet for myself.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
ended up, kind of dancing around coaching for a while. I had this company name, Thriving Life, at that
Hmm.
point, and I held on to my domain because I knew that there would come a time when I'd finally be ready. But I didn't even know what it was that I was really suffering with, and it was all of this internal stuff going on between my ears.
Yeah.
And um, you know, I had a couple of iterations. I kind of launched and then I kind of fell back into going into working, just going into human resources where I could have
Hmm.
the safety of someone else paying me to help people. But it wasn't really what I wanted to do. And and then I eventually there was another opportunity that I had where I got to coach, well, I should say lead leadership development workshops for executives and emerging leaders. And this was an opportunity that's really of a lifetime. It was a coveted opportunity at a big corporation that I worked for, and there was just no way I was going to say no to that. So that was really probably one of the first times I really leaned into my fear, and I just said,
Hmm.
yes, I don't know how, but I'm going to do this. I'm terrified to speak in public, but I really want this opportunity. So I tamed the inner voice, and
Yeah.
I went out and I had a lot of grace with myself. The first time, the first time I went out and did a presentation, I just had a segment of it to start. There was actually feedback from somebody in the audience that said, Jay is a really lovely person, but she is not ready to lead these groups.
Mm.
And
Wow.
it was mortifying. It was like my worst fear come true. Like, oh my God, the judgment, humiliation, right? I really had to sit with
Yeah.
that. I and but that's what I did. I sat with it and I let myself just feel the pain
Hmm.
and feel the embarrassment, feel the shame. Oh my God, all the inner stuff that it's true with it. What I always feared was true is true. I'm not good enough to be out there yet. And then once I got through that, I just said, well, there's no way I'm going to quit this opportunity. What am I going to
Yeah.
do? I'm going to
Yeah.
rise up. I'm going to figure
Yeah.
this out. Pardon my French.
Yeah. No, that's fine. That's fine.
I am going to figure this out. And there's a term that I used that I learned from one of my colleagues at that time that I loved. It was, I'm going to fail forward.
Yeah. I love that one. I love that one. How do you think you
Yeah.
did on that I know you said that someone had an opinion, but how do you feel you
Yeah,
did?
they were right. They were absolutely right. I did not have it figured out yet. I did not know how to
Mhm.
publicly speak yet. They were right. They were the one courageous soul who dared to tell me the truth.
Wow. Gotcha. Did anybody tell you otherwise? Like, oh, you're awesome and great you were.
They just opted to not say anything, right?
Okay.
And so, that's something that I learned. So it was such an important turning point in my
Mhm.
life, actually, was to get the honest feedback.
Mm.
When they say the truth shall set you free,
Yeah. Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
truth. That is a truth.
Yeah.
And that's something that, I learned to say yes to the honest feedback and to not let that feedback stop me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And and for so long, it was the internal feedback, right? But this was
Yeah.
actually something, there's somebody who's validating, yeah, you need to work on this. And instead of reacting to it, I did react to it at first, right? To be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had all the ugly feels, right? But then I realized, like, it's okay. It's not going to stop me. I'm going to go ahead and fail forward, and I'm going to get better. And it was, I really appreciate this because I put a lot of work into preparing for this. And at my very first workshop that I led by myself, there was somebody in the audience who I knew, but he stayed afterward. He was one of the leaders in the organization, and he stayed afterward, and he said, "This was amazing. This was such an
Mm,
incredible opportunity." He's like,
mhm,
"Yeah, like you really had the audience." And
mhm.
I later got the survey feedback from the audience that validated
Oh
that.
boy,
Because
that's
it's
a
been
that's a
8 9.
courageous move.
And he said, "How long have you been doing this again?" And I said, "Well, this was my first solo flight." And he was absolutely floored. and
Mm,
and so that was also good, honest feedback,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
That can also be a truth for me, that I can
yeah,
succeed at this.
yeah.
And so I chose at that point to continue forward, living my life that way, and
Gotcha.
and just saying, not being so scared of the
Mhm.
worst case scenario, and just welcoming the failures in a sense. So leaning
Wow.
into courage.
That's a tough one, welcoming the feedback, because I mean, oh my God, who wants to deal with truth? A lot of times, we want to be, oh my God, you're the best, you're the absolute. We want all these accolades and things
Mhm.
like that. But my goodness, when people tell you the absolute truth, but I think, like you said, you had your time to react, and but also someone told me, there's a difference between responding and reacting.
Mhm.
And your response was to move and grow from that. And
Mhm.
and that's the difference, I think, a lot of times. And um, in our human journey. And so you spoke on something. One word that caught my attention is this word called fear.
Mhm.
Um, because it's an emotion that it serves a purpose. Um, but I think when we let it overtake us, and that we become stagnant, we don't move forward with things. Because I've been there, I know what that feels like. I've been in that position where you're speaking, you have a public, speaking event, and as they say, people would rather swim with sharks than speak in public. Yeah, to a degree, I think that is true.
Yeah.
Uh, and I went out and I spoke and I loved it. You know, uh, I did everything but throwing banana peels at me. And so, but it didn't stop me. I just know that my message has to get out.
Right.
My
Yeah.
message, and whoever's going to resonate with, I'll fail along the way. But the word fear, I think, is, like I said, is something that we all struggle with. We
Mhm.
either ignore it and put it, away, um, or we learn to face it and, deal with it.
Mhm.
Um, how do you deal with fear? What is fear?
Mhm.
If you have like an idea or a thought about it.
Mhm. I have a lot of thoughts about fear because this is the business I'm in, is the business of fear and
Yeah.
helping with it. Fear is one of our two primary responses as humans.
Hmm.
We either respond from fear or we respond from love.
Mm,
And when you mention the difference between reacting and responding, I would say reacting is a fear-based response or a fear-based choice, and
mhm,
responding is more of a love-based approach.
mm,
And so fear is really strongly powerful, and it's really oftentimes very unconscious to us,
mhm,
right? It's something that most people are not even aware of, the undercurrent of fear that's going on, that is actually kind of driving their emotions and
mhm.
their decisions and then subsequently their actions, and that becomes their life. right?
Hmm.
And that was my life, was I was afraid of so many things and just avoiding my true potential as a coach,
Hmm.
which is what I
Hmm.
wanted to do since I was a kid, but I avoided it for so long, and and that was because I wasn't aware of it. I just did whatever I could to avoid it, and it was the point when I stopped avoiding it and I just let it be, right? Like when I said my worst fear came true with that person's comment about my
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
performance. It was like I got to actually the fear was so strong that I actually let it out,
Hmm.
one of the first times, and I let it be there. And then I did something about it. I responded with love, right?
Hmm.
Love for my passion, love for my potential, love for all the people I wanted to help,
Hmm.
you know? And operating from that perspective makes all the difference in the world. And it really does, in the coaching that I do, where I'm helping people with fear, a huge part of what we do is I'm teaching them, I'm showing them and teaching them how to negate the fear with love for oneself,
Hmm. Hmm.
learning how to be one's own best friend, learning how
Wow.
to coach yourself through your struggles. When you hear that self-doubt, because self-doubt comes up, it's also inherent to us as humans. We're going to doubt ourselves sometimes.
Yeah.
But what do you do? How do you respond when the self-doubt comes up? And so learning how to just show up for yourself with encouragement, learning how to show up with self-compassion and right action,
Hmm. Hmm.
those are powerful antidotes.
That is so, what caught my attention was, responding from that space of love. Um, and response being, like you said, a uh, fear base is reaction, response base is love.
Mhm.
And or if I mixed up the words, totally fine. Everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Right.
but 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 I think that is so powerful because I think that's why I still do what I do. Because I think well, not I think, but I know that me myself, I'm an introvert. So it takes me a lot to just do this right here.
Mhm.
I have to like lie down for a couple of minutes before, I actually, get myself ready for this type of a conversation. But it's something that I have to do. It's something that I must do. It becomes a part of it's a part of my commitment to myself,
Mhm.
uh, and my family. And so that keeps me, moving forward and just
Mhm.
saying, okay, feel the fear and do it anyway, as
Yeah.
they say. So, but yeah, like I said, you move from that reactionary space of, fear to
Mhm.
now my purpose and my love for my purpose,
Right.
and that keeps me moving forward and keeps
Yeah.
me still feeling the fear. Totally fine. Like I said, I need like 5 minutes before I come on to a platform like this to kind of like get
Mhm.
myself ready for it. But then, hey, once we're in it, hey, we're in it now. It's like, what can you do?
We're just two humans having a nice conversation. It's
Yeah,
very
yeah,
a very simple thing, and fear will, it'll show up with so much complication. It just really complicates things. It's
yeah.
just
Unneeded.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And when you just really simplify it, like all it
Yeah,
is a conversation. We're just having a
exactly. Exactly.
conversation.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, within your program, and I want to touch on this because as you move from like this fear space, and now you're confident. Now there is some idea of confidence. You have some element of you found some confidence. And one of the things I wanted to ask you about was, are you born with confidence, or are you taught confidence? Is confidence found through failure?
Mhm.
uh, all of the above, maybe, so if you can break that down.
I'd love to break that down. I have a lot of thoughts about this. Think about when a baby is born.
Hmm.
Generally speaking,
Yeah.
without any exceptions of maybe health issues and so on. But
Hmm.
like most babies that are born like healthy, pretty damn confident, aren't they? They will
Yeah.
scream about
Yeah.
what they know,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
not
yeah.
afraid
You're
to
right
like
about
let it
that.
come out, right? They don't know how. They're not worrying about how to articulate it because they don't know how
Hmm.
yet. They
Yeah.
just getting their needs met, right?
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
asserting that they need to have their needs met, and as they get older and, they learn how to get up and how to take those first steps because they're curious. They want to do what others are doing. They want to find
Hmm.
their own way and express their own will in the world, right? And
Hmm.
so they get up and they step, they fall, maybe they cry, but eventually they're going to get up. They don't just give
Hmm.
up altogether and say, I'm not going to walk for the rest of my life. I'm just going to lay
Yeah.
here. So, I believe that we are inherently confident.
Mm.
It's that what happens is, as I mentioned before, that, we get a lot of messages, well-intended messages, because we do have to learn how to fit into the world, right? There are
Yeah.
societal norms we have to fit in and so on and so forth. But we're also subject to other people's judgments. We're subject to other people's intolerances and frustrations, their emotions. Sometimes we have to be something for certain people, and so those are the kinds of things that we internalize that start to, become this voice of self-doubt. It's like we internalize this judge that we hear from others.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so, what I think is really key is so many people out there, women especially, I think they feel as though if they go out there and they get the degrees and the certifications, if they have a lot of initials after their name, if they get a
Hmm. Yeah.
lot of gratitude letters and thank you notes and awards and recognitions and promotions and stuff, then they will become confident.
Hmm.
What I like to think of that as like, it's like you're focusing on bridging a gap between where you are and where you think you should be, as if confidence is there. And you're
Hmm.
going to do all these activities, and then sooner or later you're going to reach this goal and you're going to feel confident and
Yeah.
ta-da.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and that's not the approach that I take in the coaching that I do and in the programs that I offer. What I like to help people do instead is understand that there's a whole bunch of stuff around your confidence that's hiding it.
Hmm.
And a lot of that comes down to your relationship with yourself and the relationship that you hold with reality, meaning the
Mm.
experiences that you have, the people that you interact with, and so on and so forth. And so we work on how do you handle it, when you get the negative feedback,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
the workshop, that you missed the mark. What do you do with that? There's an inner voice of judge that comes up. So we learn how to mindfully and heartfully examine all of the stuff that's covering the confidence. And we slowly learn how to take all of that away and how to show up for ourselves. And really what it is confidence has always been there. You're just uncovering
Mm.
it.
Wow. Wow. Love that.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, it's accessible. It's within me.
Hmm. Hmm.
And all those little quotes that you hear all the time about how, confidence is within you and, no
Yeah.
one else will
Yeah.
make you feel insecure, without your permission, these kinds of quotes, sometimes they fall flat for somebody who doesn't feel confident.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
but then when they start to do this work, they start to understand the real meaning of those quotes. Oh my gosh, yes, I already have it. I
All
just
right. Right.
kind of have to get out of the way. Right?
Wow.
Let that voice of fear that just tries to protect me, but it's actually sabotaging me.
Hmm.
I just
Hmm.
tame it.
That is so cool. Now, question. Can it be like this? Is confidence, let me break it. Let me try to figure out what I'm saying here. Um, can confidence be a type of thing within us that it's here one day and then it's gone, or event from event, or wherever you're comfortable? So in your journey of reaching and speaking with women, you can be confident, speaking to people. You can be confident in that area, but you may not be confident in another area. So
Mhm.
in your business, are you just really teaching overall confidence, or are you specifically dealing with And this might be about your programs a little bit too. So.
Yeah, I was just going to say, in my one-on-one coaching, we are really looking at the specific circumstances that somebody is dealing with. And I will help them learn these concepts and how to apply them to that specific issue that they're dealing with.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
it's very common that they'll feel really good and really empowered, and they'll be moving along thinking, okay, everything's great. And then they'll hit something different that triggers them
Hmm.
in a different way. Right? It could be something that, somehow connects to a long forgotten memory, that was very
Mm. Yeah.
painful, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it could sound like maybe a very judgmental parent, and a lot of pain can come up sometimes.
Hmm.
And it can really knock somebody, off their kilter a little bit because, they're just like, wait, I thought I was so confident now, but what
Yeah.
happened? Right. So
Yeah.
it's absolutely contextual because there are different situations that affect us differently,
Yeah.
also, one thing that I think is pretty common across most people is just uncertainty. Dealing with
Okay.
uncertainty can generally be the one thing that rattles most people.
Mm.
Even as they are growing and developing their confidence, they could still enter into something for the first time and start to feel that self-doubt coming up again, and they get kind of the gremlins kind of start rearing their heads.
Right.
And so, and then, the key is to not react and doubt that you ever felt confident, and that it was all,
Right.
you never really knew how to feel confident. That's not true. This is one of the things I like to help people understand is like, it's really an ongoing process. That's why I
Mhm,
say
mhm, mhm,
about your relationship with yourself and your relationship with reality, because reality is full of uncertainties.
mhm,
And so you have this next uncertainty that you're confronting. What are you going to do? Are you going to remember all of the tools and use them in this context as well? You know?
mhm.
And the more you do this, in different situations and you overcome different uncertain situations, the more you do that, the more you start to build refuting evidence.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you get more and more evidence of I am capable. I can deal with uncertainty. I
Yeah.
didn't feel confident at first, but I did the things I needed to do, and now I came out and I feel much better.
Right.
And so part of the work of relating to yourself is to be conscious of your successes
Mm.
instead of again focusing on the gap, everything that isn't true yet. Like I'm not all these.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead, we look at what is true. How many times have you overcome, uncertainty? How many times have you failed but failed forward? How many times have you come through your pain and your agony, or tamed your judge? Yeah, it looks like
And I
you
have
had
to
that.
remind myself, I have to remind myself of that, also because, it's like, wow, what I have accomplished in several areas of my life, because of just overcoming the fear of it, of
Mhm.
whatever it was. And if I look back on that, it's like, wow, I'm pretty amazing.
Yeah,
And so,
you
and so
are.
I think, yeah, we have to, and I thank you for that reminder, just remembering of the
Mm.
things that we have overcome, because I think if we really look at how awesome we can be and have been, and some of the things that we have been challenged with in our lives, we realize that, man, I am awesome.
Mhm.
And so, but it takes reminding. It takes that, a person like you to kind of like be buzzing around in their heads, and
Well,
reminding them.
and that's the mindfulness piece of this work.
Yeah.
Right? Mindfulness means putting your attention on the right things,
Mm.
right? It's
Gotcha.
bringing your conscious awareness to that truth, not,
Right.
not
Right.
just the truth that, oh, I haven't accomplished this or that yet, but well, what's the rest of the story? What's the rest of
Yeah.
the truth? Let's
Yeah.
also look at that. So like I'm like the chief reminding officer and okay, the coaching. It's like,
There we go.
remember,
Love
yeah,
it. Love it. So in your programs, Jay, you have what's called the Confidence Kickstarter. I
I
think that
do.
was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Can you break that down right quick?
Yeah, yeah. The Confidence Kickstart it's a fairly new program, and I
Hmm.
created it because sometimes women are kind of dabbling. They're kind of looking to see, okay, maybe I'm ready to finally do something and something different. You
Yeah.
know, Yeah, because I can't handle this feeling of discomfort anymore. I'm tired of feeling too afraid. And so I created this 7-day email-based challenge. It's one email per day. And it's really just little mini challenges. They're meant to be really lighthearted and fun, which is part of the overall reprogramming I try to do, is to teach women not to take everything so seriously, because that's also confidence boosting. It's when you know how to just relax and enjoy,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And so these little challenges are designed in such a way to make it fun to learn and to try something new and to use your courage
Yeah.
and to get out of your comfort zone. And so it's making growth accessible to women who crave more of that in their lives, and, more of a stretch, a little bit of a doable stretch, so they can get a real peek, into what it's like to actually feel good and confident.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
part of that is, starting with understanding kind of like, well, how is your current confidence level? What would you rate that as? So they get a current, confidence score. And then through the journey, they come to understand, what are the behaviors, that they maybe could be nurturing and supporting, and bringing more of into their lives to nurture that confidence. They're learning how to shift their mindset and
Mhm.
see, just kind of, how life could be, right? If they were
Right.
to just try a little bit of these like lighthearted, fun things to do. But we're really kind of doing some deep work in the process. It's a little bit of a sneaky program in that way, because we're actually really getting to some core stuff that has to do with relationship with self, so there's
Gotcha.
there's some stuff in there that's meant to kind of spark that self-compassion and gratitude, and kind of almost reconnecting with a little bit of that, the lighthearted fun of a child.
Yeah. 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 Well, everyone, remember, this is a free 7-day course that she's offering. So make sure that you do get in contact with her for that. So you also have confidence breakthrough.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes, yeah.
break that down to.
Yeah, the breakthrough it's kind of similar. It's similarly structured. This one is not free. It's $100 for this one,
Mhm.
but it's a similar structure and meant in that it's meant to be just little bite-sized pieces. And this is to break through toward a goal that somebody may have been putting off for some time because they have this fear of failure or maybe
Mhm.
success. So it's really meant to focus on fear and relationship with fear and what we do when we're confronted with fear, while also having the actionable. You're actually like starting to take some steps toward a goal that you've
Mhm.
been for some time. And so that one's a nice kind of easy and also lighthearted way to get started on a goal.
Gotcha, gotcha. And of course, your confidence coaching and confidence makeover. Like I said, I want people to kind of like get an idea of some of your coaching programs and what you do. So yeah, share those also.
Yeah, so the two coaching programs are, yes, just the one-on-one confidence coaching, and that was the one I mentioned before, and that's where, we're having one-on-one sessions, and we're really diving into what it is that you are bringing to the table today, and helping you navigate these situations and find new ways to work through them. So it's pretty straightforward. It's kind of your
Yeah.
basic coaching, basically. The makeover is a little bit more, it's got that coaching element to it, but it's also highly instructional. And so
Okay.
based on our initial intake process, I will customize a curriculum based on I'm assessing would be most useful, and teaching you very different concepts, and providing activities and homework specifically to work on very specific topics that would be most helpful to helping an individual come through and really overhaul their confidence issues. And so that could be that we're doing much more deeper work with the inner judge, the inner
Hmm.
critic.
Hmm.
It could be around that. It could be around how to establish a mindfulness practice,
Hmm.
and what that could do for somebody. And I know not everybody's into mindfulness, so I don't expect that of everybody.
Yeah.
It could be that you have a really hard time with just accepting things,
Mhm.
and so it could be that I put something in there around acceptance, or
Oh,
the concept of just learning how to let
right.
go and let things be, right?
Wow.
So it's just, I have like 24 different topics that I can pull in and customize.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think, you touched on something, like you said, the letting go part, I think is huge, because I think we hold on to things and we don't realize how much that thing that we're holding on to is actually just breaking us down each and every day. And so, yeah, thanks for that reminder too.
Yeah, especially fear, right? If we're holding on
Yeah,
to fear, if
yeah,
I don't hold on to
yeah,
this so much, it's going to control my life. Or you use the tools, you learn how to just let it
yeah.
go. And now your hand is open, and now something great can come in, right?
Something good can come in. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Jay, thank you so much for hanging out. I truly enjoyed learning more about what you are up to with Thriving Life. And I learned a lot from you. Now, even though your main focus is with women, but just being a male interviewing you today, I've learned some things and some reminders and things like that. And so I urge everyone to visit her website. She has some really good information out there, and like she said, take advantage of the Kickstart program that she has. Also, please do, please do, please do. But once again, thank you so much for hanging out today.
Yes, thank you so much for the questions. And I should share the website is
Yes,
thrivinglife.com.
thriving.life.com. Go ahead, please do.
Pretty easy, thrivinglife.com. And if you go /free confidence kickstart, then you will find the confidence kickstart there. But yeah, Todd, this has been a really fun hour, and I've appreciated your great questions. And just, it's always fun to talk about this stuff. And, my hope, as I was talking, was just kind of imagining that maybe there's somebody in your audience that this is resonating with, and that might feel just much more hopeful that there's something out there that can help.
I know some people in my audience that it should be resonating with. So I will definitely be following up with them and just, urge them to say, listen, you gotta listen to Jay. And
Yeah, I appreciate that.
yeah, yeah. So thank you for doing what you're doing. And I definitely wish you total success. And this won't be the last time that we are speaking. I want to definitely continue our conversation and look forward to seeing what we can, work and collaborate in the future. You just never
Yeah.
know.
I'm thinking there's a laughter yoga session in the works.
Oh man, please do.
Yeah.
Like I said,
That's your community.
yeah, exactly. There we go. There we go. There we go. So once again, Jay, thank you so much for hanging out. Okay.
Thank you, Todd. Thanks all for listening. Take care.
All right. And so, everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with us for a little bit. And I got so much value. When I first met Jay, I was like, I love her spirit, love her energy, and I wanted to definitely have her on to the show to share her expertise. So listen, go and find her, okay? Thrivinglife.com. Easy to remember, like she said, and download the Kickstart program. But everyone, thank you so much once again for hanging out with us, and I'll catch you on the next time of Living Your Best Life. Signing out, you guys have an awesome day and the rest of the year. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.